Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
What did we do this time, Liam?
This was recommended by Amanda. It was called Black Hole, and it was by Charles Burns.
Yep.
I'm just checking if anyone else was involved. Susan Moore lettered the entire book.
Was there an artist?
I think it was Charles Burns.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he did the story and the art for it.
Okay, cool.
So, there's some dedications, but I won't read those out. There's a lot.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
And John Kuamato got a thank you for his technical assistance.
Okay, I don't think we need to read the people he thanked.
We very quickly found some issues, though, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, is this the issue that I think that you're talking about?
The fact that the book doesn't have all of the content.
You're right, yeah. So, weirdly, Liam had the graphic novel.
Let's not forget I ordered it twice.
Yeah, Liam had to buy the graphic novel twice because he accidentally bought the German translation.
Yeah, the paperback version was in German, which I was not aware of.
So you had to buy the hardback, which you don't like.
I don't like doing it, Jack. It's heavy.
Too heavy for little Liam's arms.
It's just, like, uncomfortable. And, like with a paperback, you kind of, like, as you go through the book, it kind of remembers where you are, but you don't get that with a hardback so much. And also, do you read a lot, yeah? What's the point of a dust jacket?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I hate them.
Originally, it was to protect the actual cover of the book, I think, from damage.
Right, but I just took it off, and I've had a much more pleasurable experience than in the past when I've tried to read books and keep them on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think dust jackets annoy me quite a lot.
Yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so your version had more content, didn't it?
I got the actual issues, because it's a 12 issues of this comic book. And we noticed when I asked Liam about some... I can't remember what it was that made me think, oh, maybe you hadn't read it. There was some question, or we were talking about something. And in the issues, at the start of each issue, you get a big picture of one of the kids in the comic book's faces.
Yeah.
Then a big picture of it after it's been infected with this disease.
Oh,
and
by the way, spoilers.
Spoilers.
There will be spoilers.
Lots of spoilers. If you're going to read Black Hole, stop listening.
Yeah. Would you recommend people read it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah.
But yeah, so on that second picture at the bottom, there's a quote, which I don't know whose perspective it's meant to be from.
Like if it's from the kids or just from like someone else.
Yeah, it's someone. It's definitely one of the kids, but I can't tell if it's the same kid who does each quote, and I don't know which kid it is.
Okay.
But basically, that doesn't add to the story, but it sort of explains something or adds some element.
Yeah.
So, like, one of them is about how one of them explains how the disease doesn't explain how it spreads, but explains that there is a disease. So before the first issue, the first quote is someone being like, "There's this disease, and it's spreading across all the teenagers, and only teenagers can be infected." So you're like, that like gives you that little bit of information that you didn't have in your version.
Yeah, which is annoying.
It's just weird. I don't know why they didn't have him in it.
No, I don't understand either.
Because genuinely, like it had an impact, because in the last issue, the quote explains something that you didn't know.
Exactly.
Which, like, you know, all the other ones are little things, but that last issue has a very, like, one that changes the way the last issue sort of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so very odd. Immediately, we've noticed that there's that difference.
Yes. I think that's the only difference, but it still is just bizarre, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
Also, do you get, in the graphic novel, did you get the cover art for any of the... Because, you know, sometimes they do, like, a summary of the covers.
No.
Because they're very different to what you'd expect.
What are the covers?
They're colour.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got none of that.
Yeah, like, so the first issue is the torn off skin.
Yeah.
Standing up like a person with a giant hole in it.
Okay, yeah, didn't get that.
But, like, they're all coloured in, and, like, considering...
The rest is, like, very just obviously black and white. It's
black and white inked. There's no shading, like, there's obviously shadow, but not, you know, there's no blend between the black and the white. It's just very clear-cut ink.
Yeah.
Boom. So, yeah, kind of odd. But I was just wondering if you'd seen them.
No.
That's annoying.
Yes, it is.
I sort of feel like you missed out, really.
Yeah, which is... it is definitely frustrating, because, you know, I brought it twice, and neither of them have this in it.
Yeah, it's weird as well, because it's not the way you think if you're buying the graphic novel, the collected works of this series.
Well, no, you say that, but... So, I've recently started getting the issues of The Walking Dead. So I've always got, like, the collected volumes. the issues have like a letter section at the back, where people write in and like Robert Kirkman and someone else who's involved respond. And that isn't in the collected volumes either.
Yeah, no, the letters thing makes sense to me.
It makes sense.
Very common.
I just that doesn't really affect the story. Whereas obviously the stuff that's being cut out here, is a part of the story.
It's minor, but it is definitely part of the story.
Yeah, so it's frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
But that aside, what did you think?
So this comic, this whole series, is weird, but it is my kind of weird. Like, this is the kind of shit I like.
What kind of weird is that?
I don't know. It's I don't know how to explain it because, and I've spoken about it on this show. One of my like least favorite kinds of horror films is torture porn and like body shock stuff. I hate it.
Yeah. Okay.
But in comic books, I love like the body morphing shit. I think it's fascinating in comics. I don't know why that's different.
Yeah. So when you say like body horror stuff, are we talking like Cronenberg sort of stuff, like Videodrome?
I don't know what that is.
Give me an example of the body horror stuff that you don't like.
So, like, what's the Kevin Smith one with the walrus?
Oh, Tusk.
Yeah, like, I've never watched Tusk, but I've watched, like, scenes from it, and they really fuck me up. I hate watching them.
Why have you watched just scenes from it?
Because I wanted to see what it was about, so I was like, oh, I'll watch the trailer after you told me about it.
Yeah.
And then the trailer freaked me out, and I was like, I don't want to watch this film. And then I was like, maybe it'll make more sense if I watch one of the scenes where he's being, like, tortured. And I was like, nope, definitely don't want to watch this film.
Okay.
So I guess this is less torture-y.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
that's the difference.
It is, but I'm just trying to think, like, when you say it freaks you out,
yeah,
isn't that a good thing for a horror movie?
No, but it's not like... There's a difference between the good kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
So, like, being spooky ghosts, right?
Yeah.
A spooky ghost will spook me out, and I'll be like, oh, my God. Oof. I'll walk around my house, and I'll be like, oh, my God, what if there's something behind me? Ah. Whereas torture... I'm not like, ooh, what if I get kidnapped and my legs sewn together? I'm like, oh God, I don't want that to happen to me ever. So, like, that's the difference for me.
Right, okay.
I mean, this isn't weird. This is a thing. This is why people don't watch horror films, right?
Well, yeah, but I've never understood
like, there are people that don't like being scared. I don't like being scared in that way.
Yeah, no, okay, so I totally get that. I just don't get, like, the whole point of horror is to be scared. So if there's a thing that scares you, then surely those are the things that you should be watching because they're going to be the most effective horror films, right?
Yeah, but like I said... No, Liam. It's not all one type of scared. Like, the way I'm scared of someone stabbing me with a knife is very different to the way I'm scared of spiders.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, so I like the spookiest like horror films that I find are probably ghost stuff. But equally, I'm not like, well, I'm not going to watch the ghost stuff.
No. I agree. I'm terrified of ghost children.
Yeah.
So they are the horror films that I will watch to be scared, right?
Yeah.
But body horror and like the like torture stuff,
yeah,
it's less. I think it's less that I'm scared of it, and more that it just disgusts me. That the idea of someone being able to do that to someone else, or the idea of that happening to someone and them not being able to help it, is upsetting to me less than it is like it's not. I'm not scared.
Right. Okay.
Per se. So like when I'm watching Saw, I'm not like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen to me. I'm just like, this is genuinely upsetting me that. The idea that this could happen to someone.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I
like
think
maybe
I understand that better.
I think
yeah.
I was describing it poorly. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
So I guess it's different in a comic because it's I don't know why.
Well, yeah, I don't. I mean,
it's weird.
No,
I
okay,
agree,
but in
weird.
this comic, right? It's not like it's not like someone's going around torturing other people.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And so this is what I was asking because like a Cronenberg, like a body horror type of film like that.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So David Cronenberg does these like body horror type films, and they're more in line with like this comic book than they are with like the Saw type films that you're talking about, where it's someone inflicting that sort of thing on someone else.
Yeah. So maybe I should give one of them a watch then.
Yeah, like there's a really famous bit in Videodrome where this guy essentially has like a slot open up in his stomach that he can put like a videotape inside.
Oh, okay.
But so that's like body horror, but. Do you see what I mean? It's a lot more like this comic and less like Saw.
Yeah, I think the issue was as I started talking about what it was that upset me, it was very obvious that it was the torture side of it more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe I'm just not a fan of torture, which I guess is a good thing to not be a fan of.
I mean, yeah, but You know, what about like 24?
But when I've seen like the first 2 seasons.
Like that has like a torture-y theme.
Yeah, but it's not like. But in 24, I assume they get out of it. I don't really remember.
He
like
tortures some people to get information
Like in
from
James
them.
Bond, right? There's the
Yeah.
James Bond, is it Casino Royale scene where he gets whipped on the chair?
Yes.
Yeah, that's upsetting to watch, but also it's James Bond, so you know he's getting away.
Right, okay.
So I think it's the torture stuff where there's like you're not sure that someone's going to escape and get revenge. You're just like, oh, these people are just being tortured and then they die.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I'm honestly, I'm trying to figure it out as we speak. Like, this isn't something I've considered. I haven't broken down what it is about them I don't like before.
Yeah. No, I think we should do some Cronenberg films on a later episode, because I do think
Okay.
you'd like them.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, let's get back to Black Hole.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah. I liked it enough. I didn't love it.
Yep.
It was a big read compared to like the comic books we normally read. This was because normally we'd do like a volume, wouldn't we?
I mean, this is a volume. It's just, I think, what's a volume usually? 1 to 6 issues?
Yeah.
And this is 12, so it's, I guess, double the length of what we would typically read.
Yeah, so it's a big read, but
Yeah.
it was good. I definitely think Amanda would have recommended this more for you than for me.
I think the weirdness of it I could see Amanda being like, oh, this is kind of weird, which Jack has shown an interest in from things like Nameless, right?
Yeah.
But I can also see why Amanda suggested it to you,
Why is that?
because there's a lot of vaginas in it.
That's true.
And vagina-shaped things.
Yeah, but there are also a lot of penises and penis-shaped things.
And you, as we know, you like to see a good penis.
Well, I don't know if we have to say a good penis.
Sorry, you just like to see a penis.
Yeah, I find it very noticeable when you've seen like boobs and a vagina but no penis.
Yeah, this book definitely doesn't feel like it's being like, look at all these boobs.
No, it's not one-sided like that.
It's also not, I don't think, whereas some stuff will play the whole, like, you know, like, oh, look at the boobs, it's part of the film, but really we all know that we're putting these boobs here so that people will watch it.
Yeah.
This didn't feel like they were being like, nudity, let's use that. It felt more like, oh no, this is definitely, there's a reason that this is here.
Yeah, it was part of the story. So some of the stuff I liked was like the whole, like, there's definitely a coming of age aspect to it, right? Like one of the themes is definitely like leaving your childhood behind and like entering adulthood. That kind of, you know, it's that phase.
Should we really quickly do a summary of what this is?
Yeah, go on.
I just realised we haven't done one.
Go on, do that.
Oh god, I'm bad at them. So this graphic novel follows two main characters.
Maybe three.
It follows a bunch of people.
Like three main characters. I'd say the main characters it follows would be Chris, Rob, and Keith.
Yeah, alright, fair enough, yeah. So it follows sort of three main characters in this town where a sexually transmitted disease is being spread amongst the teenage population. The disease it varies. Some people can have almost no noticeable effects and can hide it, and others become horribly disfigured or mutate and grow limbs, or like really extreme stuff. Like someone at one point turns into a snake body with a head.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're following these characters as they they don't try and deal with it, they just try to sort of deal with regular teenage emotions in this weird situation.
Yes, that's right.
And inevitably all three of them end up infected, and you sort of deal with how they each deal with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so sorry. Carry on with your point, Lip.
I've forgotten it.
Sorry.
That's alright. Yeah, so no, so I was saying, like, I like the idea, like, the whole coming of agey, the leaving the childhood behind and entering adulthood and all that sort of stuff. I loved the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork in this is incredible.
The thing is, I had issues with it, Jack.
Okay.
Similar issues to what I had with Nameless, in that I felt that the way the story was presented was like a little needlessly convoluted. Like there's a few like time jumps, and I think if the time jumps had added to the story, so like say something happens earlier on, like in the book, happens earlier on in the book, and then later on you find out that thing actually happened later in the chronology of the story, but what you found out in between then kind of informs the bit you read earlier on differently. It wouldn't be so bad, but I feel like the time jumps don't actually add much to the story, perhaps.
Yeah, well, one of the issues with the time jumps is that there's sort of two different types they use in this book.
Yeah.
So very noticeably in the first issue, before we recorded, I was checking to make sure that I understood some stuff.
Yeah.
And Liam then, when I was talking about it, had noticed the same thing. That at the end of the first issue, there is a section where you effectively see a scene from a lot later in the books.
Yeah.
For no reason. It doesn't add anything, like Liam's saying. It doesn't add to the story. It doesn't inform you of anything. It's just from later on in the books, and they don't explain it, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right, so that's one type. The other type that they also throw in are like dreams, where a character will have a dream, and things happen in that dream that do happen later on. Those ones are less bad, like they're less weird. Like they're weird. They're less
of an issue.
Yeah, because it's a dream, and you're sort of like, oh, okay, it's like hinting that this thing's going to happen. Like a lot of Keith's dreams have Chris's foot cut open and him pulling something out of it, which later on in the book she does cut her foot open and he helps her bandage it up.
Yeah.
So like those ones make sense, but it is the ones where you sort of just suddenly see a scene from later on that doesn't appear to be a dream.
No. And it's obviously a time jump. And I think the other thing is it doesn't do a good job of setting like a time scale. So when it is jumping, it takes a lot of work on like the reader's behalf to figure out where that all fits in.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's also one of the other issues with that is I genuinely at the start of this whole thing found it difficult to differentiate some of the characters.
Yeah,
which isn't. Whilst the art style is amazing, sometimes it can be hard to tell them. But there was a whole scene, Liam, where Chris, who for the listeners who haven't read this, is a female lead. Yeah. There was a whole scene where I didn't realise that it was Chris and not a dude. So when they suddenly had a scene with her with boobs, I was like, "Oh, this virus is really weird."
Wow. Yeah. No, I had that issue too, where a lot of the characters are drawn quite similarly without anything particularly like distinguishable about them.
Yes, yeah. The way you split apart characters in this is like one of Keith's friends always wears sunglasses and one of them has buck teeth. And you're like, okay, I now know those characters.
And it gets even more annoying when one of them, I think it might have been Keith, has a haircut halfway through.
Yes, yeah, he does, yes.
Yeah, so that just doesn't help.
No. That's true. I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, no, it was good. It's just... So like now that I've read it, and again, this is kind of like ignorance on my behalf a bit, and I feel like I need to read more around it, into it, because I'm sure there's stuff in it that I'm not like immediately picking up on.
Oh, definitely. I definitely feel like there's like... It's annoying because I did a little bit of research, and so I haven't gone particularly far into anything. Yeah. But I can't find a huge amount online of people like discussing it, because I don't like reading reviews of stuff where because they're just doing what we've done, like a first read. Yeah. And they say, this is my opinion. What I want to see is like the forum where some dude's read it 10 times and is like, you know what? When she sees the snake-headed boy in her dream at the beginning, that's very clearly talking about this thing. I want that breakdown. The guy that's way too into it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't find him, Liam.
No. Like, I think that, so you have this obvious, like, STD stuff, and, like, that ties into the whole, like, AIDS kind of culture that you had in, like, the 70s, I think it was, 70s, 80s?
Yeah. This was written in 95.
Yeah, exactly. So...
Because I was like, I wonder how closely... Because it is obviously, like, you know, at least we'll take some sort of inspiration from the AIDS crisis. Yeah. And inspiration might be the wrong word there. I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
So you definitely have that kind of element to it, which is interesting. But I feel like that's not the... I was expecting that to be like the primary focus.
Yes, same. From what Amanda had said, which wasn't a lot, to be fair. She wasn't like, oh, you guys are going to like it because of this. She was just like, read this graphic novel. Yeah. I think you'll like it. It's about an STD. Mm. So I also went in being like, oh, is it just going to be all about them trying to figure out who's got the virus and stuff? Yeah,
that's kind of what I was expecting. But it's a lot more just about like living with a virus, I think.
Yeah, it felt to me... You know, I don't like reading into things in the way you do. Yeah. But I could definitely see it's set in a time period where there was a very clear divide between the not genders, age difference. So like generations is the word I was looking for. Yeah. So like there was a lot of the kids in this are doing drugs, and their parents are very like straight-laced parents. Yeah. So it definitely felt to me like that was more of a focus than the STD thing. Like these kids are it's taking the idea that the two generations were very different,
Yeah.
and it's making it even more noticeable when these kids are getting deformities and mutating, like, and effectively it leads to their parents throwing them out of their homes.
Yeah, or
is
them
what
just
seems to
willingly
or
leaving
them
the
leaving
home.
it, being like,
Yeah.
my parents won't accept me for this. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like that was more of a focus in it, the idea of that generational divide.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's an interesting like aspect to it with that whole like not living up to your parents' expectations and standards.
Yes, because Chris is, like, at the beginning of the book, is like a straight A student, right? And there's a scene where she starts doing bad.
Yeah.
And then her parents are like, oh, it's because of a boy. And you're like, well, it is because of a boy, but it's also because she's terrified that she's going to mutate into a hideous monster.
So when she has sex with, I think it's Keith, isn't it? No,
No, it's Rob.
Rob, sorry. So she gets the disease from Rob, and there's a moment when she sort of like starts having sex with him, and he kind of tries to explain, and she says, I know.
Yeah.
What do you think it was that she like misunderstood there?
I think he was going to say, like, I really like you. She thought he was going to do a big, like,
Right, okay.
look, I really like you, Chris, and I'm worried that we shouldn't do this because, you know, like, the typical,
Yeah.
like, she's a teenage girl and she's like, oh, he's either really into me or he's going to be like, we shouldn't do this, and I just want to do it.
Yeah, and did you also get the vibe that part of this disease was that it did affect some people, it made them more attracted to you?
No, I can see why you're saying that.
Yeah, because to me it felt like part of the disease was that it triggered something in like a sexual situation that would then like cause you to be a lot more susceptible to someone's like...
I don't think it is. I think that the reason you felt that way is because the characters that we follow in those situations have not something wrong with them, but like Chris is very obviously like desperate to find someone that loves her, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason she is very quick to be like, yes, Rob, because she's like been looking at Rob and she's like, oh, he wants me, let's do this.
Yeah.
Keith, when you first meet him, is bordering on obsession with Chris.
Yeah.
So then when he meets Eliza, I think the reason he's very attracted to her is that she's got the same... Like, he says at one point that when Chris got the disease and he found out about it, he almost became more attracted to her because he thought it made her easier to get.
Okay.
So, like, he's already... That's not a good attitude to have.
No.
But he's, like, a teenage boy feeling those, like, just obsession over a girl.
Yeah.
So he meets Eliza. She's also got this disease, and it hasn't made her... Like, Eliza, nothing terrible has happened to her face. She's just grown a tail.
Yeah.
And he's, like, attracted to her because she's this beautiful girl that's interested in him.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other girls, he's been obsessed with Chris, who doesn't show much appreciation to him and that sort of thing. So I think the reason these characters seem to be more obsessed with characters that are infected are just because we're following characters that have those flaws.
Okay, that makes sense.
That was the impression I got. I didn't...
Yeah.
You know, like, I might not be right. It could be that he's like, no, fuck yes, the disease made people madly in love with each other.
Yeah. So, who was your favourite character?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought it was Eliza. Because you asked me a question before we started recording.
Yeah.
Would you like to repeat that?
Yeah.
Go on then.
I said to you, Liam,
Yeah.
if you were in this world
Yeah.
and you were one of the teens
Yeah.
and Eliza was like, hey, let's sleep together,
Yeah.
would you say yes?
And I said no. Would
Because
you?
she's got a horrible disease.
Yeah, that I don't really want, and I also don't know how it would affect me.
Yep, that's fair.
But you, what about you?
Well, I said no.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't.
But
that was a lie.
yeah, I thought it might have been.
Yeah. So
why is that?
here's my logic, Liam.
Okay, here we go.
She was very nice.
She was very nice. A little bit damaged.
Well, yeah.
Good artist though.
Yeah. Also, Liam,
Yeah.
what if I turn into a cool monster?
I was thinking, like, is there a way the disease could affect you positively?
Yeah, she got a cool tail.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cool. Like, when it broke off in his hand, I thought that was a bit gross.
No, that was because she was a lizard.
Yeah, no, I get that. Still gross.
Well, only because you're not a lizard.
Yeah, neither are you.
Could be.
Like, if you start going around trying to fuck an iguana and you're going, it's cool, it's a lizard, I think
Well,
people
no,
are going to have
if-
issues.
If there was a girl who was a lizard,
Right?
I'm just saying, Liam,
Yeah.
you're very negative about the mutations.
No, I think it's that, like, I just wouldn't... It's the not knowing how it's going to affect you that I wouldn't like.
Yeah, no, that's true. But true love, Liam,
Yeah.
doesn't let things like that stand in the way.
No, but I would try and find true love with someone that doesn't have a disease.
Okay, well, that's all right. What about this, Liam?
Yeah.
You come home from, well, no, you come home from the gym.
Okay.
You've had a busy morning at the gym.
Yeah.
And Kat says, oh, I'm feeling really ill.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, okay. Fair enough. She says, I'm not going into work. I'm just going to have a day off. And like an hour later, she's got a bloody little like lump on the back of her neck, Liam. And you're like, oh, what's that?
Okay.
And it turns into like a spine, right?
Yeah.
And she says, oh, I've got that thing from that bloody black hole comic you were reading. Can you believe it, Liam?
Right.
Would you? And then she says, let's have sex.
Well, I'd be like, well, clearly you've cheated on me with someone.
No. Someone had to have got this disease from somewhere
Yeah.
that wasn't another person.
Well, it could have been a monkey.
Well, no, I don't think so.
That's how AIDS starts, isn't it?
Well, that's the story, innit? From
That's
the
true.
chopped up meat. Who knows? Anyway. Yeah, so Kat, would you?
No.
You knew she hadn't cheated on you?
I'd still be suspicious.
No. Like, I don't know how, but there's a positive way. You're like, oh, it's proven. I know she didn't cheat on me.
No, because if it's anything like the thing in Black Hole, I'm still going to end up with some sort of weird deformity.
Well,
and that's the
not
thing.
very nice of you,
That's what I'm saying. Like, the issue for me is I don't want, like, to have, like, an eye in my chest or something.
oh, that'd be sick.
No, it would be a bit Resident Evil.
No, it'd be really cool.
But, like, I quite like the mouth in the guy's neck. Is that Rob that has that?
Yeah. He's got a little mouth that talks.
But imagine my one. Like, oh, it'd be a nightmare.
Right, fair enough. Anyway, so other than the fact that you're a horrible person, you're not. I'm sorry. What else was there? Like, have you said what you liked about it?
Well, the art mostly, and the coming of agey stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it was a sort of thing that I kind of finished it, and I didn't feel like it had much of an impact on me. You know.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like, I wasn't left thinking, oh, that was really, really good, and oh, I'm really going to remember this bit. Like, it was interesting and everything. It just, I kind of felt like there was more that could have been done with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've said this on here or if it was when we were speaking earlier, but it ended very abruptly.
Yeah, we haven't said that yet. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ends very abruptly.
It just it's such a weird ending where, like, it is very just sudden.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to resolve a lot of stuff. And not in the sort of interesting, like, the stuff they haven't resolved is stuff you can ponder. It's just like, oh, okay. And the characters have all gone their own separate ways.
Yeah. And okay. So here's a question.
Yeah.
There's a bit earlier on where there's a like really, really deformed looking guy who seems to be going around like creeping on people.
Yeah.
And I was expecting that to take a much more sinister turn, right? But then later on, it turns out it's someone else who then kind of ends up basically murdering a load of people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just kind of it lost me a little bit. The whole point of the really deformed guy at the like more towards the beginning. Yeah.
So I think the thing with the guy with the deformity, right, is he's got one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Like, he's horribly disfigured.
Yeah.
And I think the reason he was skulking around, when you like look back at it with the knowledge that it wasn't him that did all the creepy shit.
Yeah. Although I
think
thought it was him that was leaving some of the creepy stuff around, but maybe it was just deliberately misleading.
Yeah, no, they were just tricking you.
Okay.
Because later on, Chris realizes that Dave was doing that.
Okay.
To scare people away from her.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think his whole thing was that he was just like, even though other people are deformed, like, he's worried that no one would, I feel like he was just the socially anxious nerd, because a lot of these kids that are living in the woods with their deformities are like the nerdy group almost.
Yeah, which is
like,
weird that they're the ones having all the sex.
Yeah, I mean, there are, some of the popular kids do seem to end up there, but it is weird that, I think it's like the idea that so my guess would be they were more accepting of the people because they're already the outcasts.
Yeah.
So they're probably more likely to accept it and just be like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm already an outcast. Why would I care about getting this disease?
Yeah, and then they build this community up together.
Yeah. As they then get more deformed and thrown out of society almost.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, the ending is super abrupt. The reveal that Dave is the baddie is quite quick.
Well, the other thing is, like, I don't think they do a good job of establishing Dave throughout. It does feel like he's just kind of thrown in towards the end.
No, he's involved in all of it, but he's not a main character for most of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's on the peripherals for a lot of it, right?
Yeah, which I think is a good, like, that is good and makes sense, because you can then look back and be like, oh shit, when he was, like, doing that scene where he's just being nice to her and saying, oh, you can join us here.
Yeah.
Because it's always Dave that goes and asks Chris if she wants to come and eat with them.
Yeah.
So I think that does that's good at setting up for, you know, when you get that reveal, looking back and being like, oh, all that was like this subterfuge.
Yeah, okay.
So it is very cookie cutter, like that ending. But
I
then
love
I don't
that
know,
you hate it when I use that description, and you've used it twice in this episode so far.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've like fucking ruined my mind.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. It does that. So it's got that like sort of lamely not. I'm using bad words now. You've confused me, Liam.
I'm sorry.
It uses the whole like very obvious ending once you get there.
Yeah.
The only bit that it does, it's also very abrupt, but then it also has a really fucking weird final, specifically the final like 3 pages. Right?
Where it goes to Chris, is it?
So you get Chris.
Yeah.
She's on a beach.
Yeah.
Where her and Rob spent a lot of time, had like a really good day.
Yeah.
She buries his photo. She gets invited to come and eat some food with some people.
Yeah.
She sees David, but I don't think she actually sees him. I think it's meant to be like she can't forget him almost.
Yes, yeah.
Because he's killed himself, right?
Yeah.
At this point. Then she goes, I'm not ready yet. Swims out into the sea.
Yeah.
There's a panel where the sea almost looks like it's like wrapping her up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like water. And then her hair sort of seems to merge with it in one of the panels. And then it says, I'd stay out here forever if I could. And then you get a picture of a galaxy.
Yes.
End.
Yes.
And I have absolutely no idea what is meant to be happening there.
No.
Like, because we've seen weird shit happen in this book where, like, in the dreams, really fucked up shit happens.
Yeah.
There's this big focus on this rock that she likes.
Yeah.
Where she seems to be swimming out to.
Yeah.
Like, it almost looks like it was setting up there's something about that rock that's important.
Yeah, but that never really ends up.
No, exactly. But then she swims out there at the end, has this weird scene. Is something meant to be happening, like something weird, or is it just that she's just swum out there and everything's normal?
I didn't read anything weird into that scene, but I just like I never got to the stage with this where I felt like I'd given up with it, if you know what I mean.
No.
But there was a point where I was just like, just stop trying to figure it out, you know? Like, coming back to that, how convoluted it is to be told, I kind of felt like at points I should have been making notes.
Yeah.
So I could, like, piece it together better later. And I don't really want to read, like, a comic book, essentially, where I feel like I should be making notes as I read it. Like, it becomes a little bit more too much like work and not enough like, oh, I'm reading this for enjoyment.
Well,
like, the story wasn't good enough for me to want to invest that amount of time into deciphering it. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Isn't it? I don't know. It's difficult because I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, the story isn't that good, but I am interested by it. Like, the weirdness. As soon as something's weird in that sort of way, I do want to, like, if there is an answer, I want to know what it is.
Read someone else having figured it out than you sat there and try and figure it out yourself.
I think that's also fun, though. But then but that's something that we're different on. I like trying to figure these things out.
Yeah, no, I get that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like for you, like, while you do like figuring it out, you would much prefer just to read someone who has figured it out than to figure it out.
No, but I'd like to read other people's thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd take if someone posted a thing being like, right, this is what it is, I don't think I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, done.
No, but I feel like
it's like Donnie Darko with all the like weird interpretations of what happens in that film.
Yeah, like he's
like, I think it's interesting to read someone's thoughts on it, but I don't let that be. I don't go, oh, that guy said it's, you know, them seeing their souls, so that's what it is.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, because it feels like you're kind of with me in that we don't have a very, like, solid thought on it at this stage. Yeah. Like, would you go back and read it again to try and put together, like, your, like, take on it?
The thing is, Liam, yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Like, as we've been talking about it, I've genuinely been like, I really want to go back and go through it with the knowledge I've got from finishing it.
Oh, fair enough.
Just to see.
Yeah, like, for me, like, I think it would benefit a second read. I just didn't enjoy it enough to want to give. Like, there's other stuff I'd rather read instead of reading this again.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Was there anything else about it that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I guess there's like one thing that came up as I was reading it.
Okay.
Which is this like graphic novel like super reminded me of this like manga writer called Junji Ito,
Okay.
who has written some really fucked up and weird manga that I love. Like,
Okay.
Uzumaki, which, have you read, Liam?
No, I haven't. I wanted
Have you
to,
not? You just know about it?
I'm aware of it, but like,
Yeah.
I can't find it anywhere to like buy that isn't just like a ridiculously huge single volume of it.
Yeah. Like, genuinely.
it's one of the things that I feel like if I ever had like if I got into reading on the iPad, it would be perfect for that sort of thing.
Yeah, honestly, they're really... I really like them. They are super weird.
Yeah.
Like, totally just odd shit. But, like, it reminded me of that in that there's this, like, weird, transformation happening to a town and people are trying to deal with it. And, like, some of the reactions people are having aren't, it's exaggerated and not normal. Like, because let's look at it in reality. If a town had this happen, people would be trying to help the kids, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, they would, Liam.
No, but like, right, I could still, I don't think it's unrealistic for the kids to be so embarrassed and ashamed that they would hide themselves away.
100%. But in this book, there are also people that are like actively destroying the kids' stuff and fucking trying to hurt them. Yeah.
What do you mean?
The college kids.
I can think of one example.
And the college kids' friends.
When's
Chris,
that?
Not Chris. Keith and his friends.
Yeah.
They destroy one of the camps at one point. And then the college kids are effectively abusing Eliza.
Okay.
There's like a whole scene where they rape her.
In where he goes to get KFC as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So there's like 3 instances. But do you know what I mean? Like, that's if there was a town that had that happening.
Yeah.
And you were like, there's a disease spreading throughout the teens, and they're getting disfigured. Mm-hmm. They would get taken to hospital.
Yeah.
That would happen. And I imagine eventually I could see people being like, oh, these teens are ruining the town, let's get rid of them. But this feels very sudden. Like, everyone's just immediately like, oh, disformed people, destroy them.
Yeah, no,
get them out.
Yeah, okay.
So exaggerated in that way, like it's all very compressed, I think.
Yeah.
Which sort of happens in those books as well. Like, it takes the extremes of what humans would do and sort of explores that.
Yeah.
So that's it. But yeah, so if you liked this, I'd recommend going and reading some of his stuff. Okay. And, the other way around, if you've enjoyed reading his stuff and you haven't read this is worth a read, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of 5?
I think 3 out of 5.
Okay. I think I'd go 3.5.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Like, I liked it just fine, but I wasn't like in love with it or anything. There was no like one element apart from the art. The art was really good, but like story wise, like there wasn't like that one character that I was really keen on, or like it just didn't have that thing that grabbed me.
No, fair enough. So what are we doing next time, Liam?
Well, next time we have a very special guest on the show, don't we?
We do.
So we're having Jason from the Atlantic Screen Connection podcast.
Yep, finally, we've been on his podcast.
Yeah. So now we're having him on, and he has suggested the film Bon Cop, Bad Cop.
Yep.
Which is, I believe, a Quebecian... Is that how you say it? film?
Quebecian?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah. I'm curious to see some cinema from Quebec, because I don't know a lot about it. I just know it's like a very... I have
zero experience with Quebecian.
Yeah, it feels like a very like separate part of Canada that has almost like deliberately kind of tried to distinguish itself away from it. But that could just be like a very outsider view.
Yeah, I think that is an outsider view.
Yeah. I just know it's like a part of Canada that just is predominantly French speaking, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious to see a film from that part of the woods, and I'm curious to speak to someone from that part of the woods to find out all about Quebecian life.
Yeah, no, it'll be good.
I think it will be. Jason's a very knowledgeable chap, so I think we'll both learn some stuff.
Let's get him on, and you can just talk to him about your poop, Liam.
I think he'd enjoy that. If anyone wants to get in touch, that's easy, isn't it?
It is. They can tweet us, Liam.
Yeah.
They can tweet us at Nerd on Nerd.
Easy.
Simple.
Yeah.
What if they want to email us, Liam?
Oh, how would they do that?
Well, it's weird that you asked me that. I'm asking you. How would they do that, Liam?
They'd just send us an email.
At what address?
At nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
Very good.
What if they wanted to Facebook us?
Oh, Liam, they'd go to facebook.com/
Every time.
Nerd on Nerd Pod, all one word? Should I check that?
I'm checking it now. Yeah, Nerd on Nerd Pod, all one word.
What if they wanted to, Liam? Perhaps review us on iTunes. No, fuck that. What if they wanted to see our video? What if they were like, I love this podcast. I love the audio. It's so good, but I just wish there was a video element.
They'd go to YouTube.
Where on YouTube?
If you just search Nerd on Nerd, all one word, you'll find us.
Magic.
Yeah. They could also leave a review on iTunes.
They could.
I just don't know why.
We're not sure.
No, like I
think it improves our rankings on iTunes, but I don't know what that means.
Maybe like we get recommended to people easier or something.
Look, we'll be honest with you, listeners. We hear a lot of other podcasts asking for reviews, so we just ask you for them as well. But I'll be honest with you, if you don't want to review us, I genuinely don't see how it affects us.
Do you know they could also review us on Facebook?
Can they?
Yeah, there's a section on Facebook for reviews.
Look, listeners, if you want to review us on these things, go for it. But I'll be honest, I don't think, at the moment, that doesn't seem to be how we're getting more listeners. So, fuck it. You know, later on, we might be like, hey, remember when I told you to fuck reviewing us? No, I was wrong. Review us. But for right now, if you don't want to, don't do it.
Well, the thing is, they're not reviewing us at the moment. So maybe
I'm giving them an easy out, because now they're all going to hear me saying, don't worry about it. And they're going to go, whew, phew, because I wasn't doing it, but I was worried.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is maybe that's why we're not getting more listeners, because they're not reviewing us.
Half of you, right now, pick a number that's either 1 or 2. Good. Everyone that picked 1, go and review us. Everyone that picked 2, don't do anything. This doesn't do anything or prove anything. So I've made a failed experiment here.
I like the idea now that someone's actually picked a number, and now they're just like, fuck, I'm just going to pretend I picked
I feel
the
like
other
you
number.
should. If you joined in that game, if you instinctively picked a number, I feel like you do have to go and review us now.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either, but I want them to know that I'm judging them for that.
Well, normally it's me judging our listeners, so I'm pleased it's you instead.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel bad about it. Sorry, listeners, but I am going to judge you. So
yeah, no, crack on. I think that our listeners are some of the best listeners we could ask for.
You're struggling so hard to form that sentence.
Well, I didn't want to overly compliment them because I didn't want it to get creepy.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
But equally, one thing that I forgot to mention. So you know last week how I was saying that I was on Amanda's podcast?
Yeah.
And how we were talking about Baywatch. And I was saying that I got a bit excited talking about Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just find the tweet. This bit has not been well prepared, Jack.
No, you've done a shit job.
Yeah. Where is it? Also, we didn't mention that her Buckaroo Banzai episode went up.
Did we not?
No.
The Buckaroo we starred in Amanda's podcast. We guested on Amanda's podcast and did a thing about Buckaroo Banzai.
No, we were the stars, Jack.
I mean, we were.
Alright, so Amanda did tweet us, and she did say that for the record, she had no idea how aroused I was while we discussed Efron, and that I was very well behaved.
Good job, Liam.
So I responded to that, saying Jack will be surprised to hear this.
I'm not.
Why not?
Because it was you guesting on a show without me.
Yeah, and?
There was no one for you to deliberately try to embarrass, so you can just have an earnest discussion.
I never tried to deliberately embarrass you.
Well, final thoughts, Liam.
Also...
Is this a final thought?
No, Gibbo did tweet us.
You can't do housekeeping, Liam, at the end of the show.
I know, it's just I found a load of tweets that I forgot about.
It's
just the last one. No, this is a treat. Our most dedicated listeners who have listened all the way to the end.
Yeah, no.
Get a little treat.
And I think it's good that we're reading them out. Just fucking get better at doing it in housekeeping. The place you insisted on having for us to do this.
Yeah, Gibbo tweeted us saying that he's with Liam, with loving all the DC films, but was disappointed with Wonder Woman. And then he linked a video where he was discussing it, and he actually made a really good point in the video that I hadn't considered previously. Good,
yeah, Liam, here's a good idea. Here's just a real good idea for you. You should do that right now on this 2-hour and 30-minute show that I'm definitely not going to get edited tonight.
It's going to be a real quick point, okay?
I'm so happy that you're doing this.
It's a real quick point. So I had
Hey, listeners, this episode came out on Tuesday, and I'd like to apologise for that, but one of the co-hosts dragged this out to 2 hours 30 at 11 p.m. on Sunday.
Bumper episode. I've still got to go make fruit, Jack. So we're all suffering.
I don't give a shit. This is going up on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's fine. So one of the points he made was that now that they've established that gods exist, right, on Earth,
yeah,
and that whole mythology actually happened, what does that mean for the origin of humanity? Which is something I hadn't considered previously.
I mean, it can just be the same thing that the Marvel Universe does.
But Marvel hasn't established gods, has it?
Yeah, it has.
No, because Thor is technically an alien in the Marvel universe, not a god.
Yeah. So why is Ares a god?
Because that's what they said he was.
Yeah. So everyone on Earth that believes that the Asgardians are gods,
Yeah.
right? And everyone on this Earth that believes that the Greek gods are gods.
Yeah.
Why is it any different?
Because the Marvel ones say he's an alien.
Yeah. The people that know.
Yeah.
So who told you that they were gods in this one?
Gibbo.
Okay, cool. Final thoughts, Liam.
Sorry, this episode's gone up late. It's probably
Actually, fuck
my
it.
fault.
I want a final thought. Boo. Liam did this.
What?
I don't know. I'm
Did
angry.
you just say
Bye.
boo, Liam did this?
Yeah, I think I did.
Was that a boo like a spooky ghost boo, or a boo like a boo-hoo boo?
I don't know. I think it might be like a pantomime boo.
Oh, right.
Like a boo, but I didn't do it very well.
Do you want to try again?
Nah.
Bye.
Bye.